Ever since a piece of the symbiote was left over in the MCU, fans have been asking one thing.
When can we see Venom? Hey, is Venom in this? Venom!
People want to see Venom. Well, let's talk about the future of Venom in the MCU, because it might not be what you expect at all.
When it comes to Venom, we know that he is a rather problematic character for many reasons, and especially when you look at the Sony side of things. They were bullish enough to try to make a Venom standalone franchise that doesn't include Spider-Man, and the first one made over $800 million, the second one over $600, and the third one, The Last Dance, made over $400. Diminishing returns were the name of the game. So you enter the future of Venom, which is animated R-rated films and him coming to the MCU. Now, of course, they already set the stage for this because they left a piece of the Venom symbiote over in the MCU in Spider-Man No Way Home. And per multiple reports, do not expect this Venom to be the same Venom that we saw in Sony's films. More than likely, we will not be getting any version of Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock, as they don't want to multiverse that in, and they seem to have dropped all plans for Venom and Null. And also don't plan any sort of callback to anything out of that Sony universe going forward. What we're talking about is Marvel Studios and Disney's in agreement with Sony to essentially give us a fresh take on Venom. And believe it or not, the direction that they're going in will not be what you expect. Because per reports, we are going to get Venom. We very much are. Marvel wants it because they know there's money to be made. But Marvel Studios' Venom is going to be the Scorpion. Okay, so let's talk about what's going on. So per multiple reports, there are two choices for Venom actually. One is, of course, Flash Thompson, who already exists in the MCU. But of course, whether or not this character would be believable as Venom, yeah, that's up for debate. But look, they could do it. There's a way they could do it. The actor could go on a workout regimen, pack on some muscle, pull off a young soldier. I could definitely see it. The other version swings all the way to Gargan, aka the Scorpion, aka Venom in the comics. So yes, both him and Flash Thompson have both been Venom. Mac Gargan's version of Venom is a lot more brutal, unleashed, sinister, insane, I think might be a good way to put it. Naturally, because the Scorpion is kind of a loose cannon, and binding him with a symbiote is a recipe for disaster, to say the least. So whichever one of these two versions of Venom they were to move forward with, it would honestly make a lot of sense in terms of, hey, we're not using Eddie, we can use one of the other versions. Now, where things get more interesting per these reports is how they want to handle this. And from what we're hearing is that essentially in Spider-Man Brand New Day, and I've reported on this already in the past, it's sounding like they're not killing off the Scorpion. Essentially, they're going to make him come back in a sequel. And this is what they originally wanted to do with Vulture as well. He was supposed to be in No Way Home, but when Sony decided to take Vulture and put him into Morbius, they pulled back on all those plans because they didn't want to be connected to any of what was going on there. Now that Venom is not limited and stuck at Sony, they're essentially looking at this like a clean slate. And Scorpion can come back because, hey, Sony's not going to rip him away, because if you guys remember, they were planning on doing that, as well as they were at one point discussing a potential Sinister Six with that Scorpion and Morbius and Kraven and all that. All those plans have fallen through and are not happening. So what we got now is essentially two ways. We go Flash Thompson or we go Mac. And in my opinion, either one is good. But what really sticks out to me in regards to this is that apparently what we're being told is that they're going to heavily hint at him becoming Venom in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Essentially, Mac is going to encounter the symbiote somehow. We don't know how. Maybe he's locked up again, and somebody's like, hey, you want to break out? Yeah, how? stick this black goo on you. Trust me, bro. It's the solution to all your problems. And then, he breaks out of the prison and, well, enter Venom in the MCU and Spider-Man 5. What I assume they can only call Spider-Man Darkest Day or something along those lines. So yeah, let's talk about how Venom's story would allegedly play out in Spider-Man 5. Okay, so what we're hearing is that Sony wants that Venom money. They want the multiverse money. They want the billions of dollars money. And of course, $1 billion is no longer guaranteed. We know another multiverse film that's pulling on nostalgia could bring it in, but again, it's a problem, right? Because you don't want to repeat the same mistakes as before, and we know that Marvel has talked Sony off the ledge of making a Null and Venom crossover film. So when they scrapped all those ideas for Venom and Null to fight Spider-Man, they pivoted to, well, let's work out the Venom plans. And what's again being stated is that Sony wants Venom sooner rather than later so they can create some synergy. Venom R-rated animated films running concurrently with Venom in the MCU would essentially be the same thing that we got with Spider-Man running around the MCU and a Venom franchise existing on its own. They give each other the rub, right? Because, again, there are characters that are connected at the hip, unless you're Sony making films without Spider-Man. So, what we're essentially looking at here is Venom in Spider-Man 5, by all counts. And this would be, okay, people don't necessarily want to see Scorpion back, right? And technically he's back, but don't worry. Yes, Mac Gargan is back, but instead of Scorpion, he'll appear briefly as Scorpion, but you're going to get him as a unhinged Venom. And that way, they're reusing a villain who's now been built up since Homecoming, who has a personal vendetta, who was locked up, who broke out, who got locked up again, but now he's got the power of Venom. And now Sony gets what they want. Marvel gets Venom. They don't have to use Eddie, who's already been tainted, and he will be in the live-action films of yesteryear, while a current iteration is animation form, and that's doing its own thing. You split the difference. Everybody's got a Venom of their own, and no cross-contamination, which is exactly what Marvel Studios wants. Sony to not interfere and backpedal off of them. Thank you for checking out that video, and thank you for your continued support. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, do whatever you will, and if you're so inclined and would like some additional content from us, which includes unfiltered content and bonus discussions, we do offer exclusively in our member section. We hope to see you there. So thank you for watching, and have a good one.